Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. I hope that everybody is having a great Wednesday. Let me put my phone on silent or mute because then I get distracted. But I'm so excited to come to you guys. Like, we have just been having some amazing transformations. And a lot of my friends and clients are just, they have amazing testimonies. And, I think that's what helps other people realize that there's something out there that can help them change their lives. And we just don't know what we don't know. We try to do things on our own because we think we know what we need to do. But then we try something like this and it absolutely changes our life. It's not just about weight loss, guys. It's about changing your whole entire life. And so I'm super excited. I have my friend Amanda here with me. And guys, her and I met back in September of last year. And I don't want to steal her thunder. I want her to be able to share her testimony with you, but she has an amazing testimony. So we got some questions that I'm going to be asking her. And so, Amanda, let's start out. I'm so glad that you came on here with me live today to share your story and your testimony of what this has done for you in your life and losing over 100 pounds in a year, which is absolutely amazing. And so tell us and everybody listening, how you felt and where you were before you started this program over a year ago. What was your mindset and just where were you emotionally?
Emotionally, I was probably pretty depressed, pretty down in the dumps. Um, I was, almost 300 pounds. I lived a very sedentary lifestyle. Um, worked an office job at an RV park, which in and of itself is not very um, physically demanding. It's a lot of time spent in front of a computer. So even my job was sedentary. My home life was very sedentary. You know, didn't didn't really do a lot of activities in terms of with my children. Um, just we spent a lot of time hanging out on the couch, watching videos, movies, whatever. Um, and now my life, I get down on the floor and play with my kids. I race my son um, during whatever activities we decide to do. I am joining my daughter. I mean, I would take her to fairs and stuff, but I did a lot more because she's part of FFA. I did a lot more sitting, in the chair as
Mhm.
opposed to, oh, let me help you carry the rabbit into the fairgrounds or, um, you know, let me walk over and actively watch your presentation because I can stand there and not, you know, feel like my body's going to crumble underneath me.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's just like, putting that into perspective that you feel like your body is going to crumble. It's like being almost 300 pounds and not being able to move around and not really have the quality of life. And so many people think it's about being skinny and about, looking good, naked or whatever the case may be. But it's really about having a healthy inside, healthy organs, a healthy heart, and being able to live life without any limitations, And so, before, back up a little bit, had you tried anything prior to getting introduced to this program? Had you tried anything prior to this um to lose the weight before we did this program?
Back in, I mean, I had tried multiple things. I had said, "Oh, I can lose the weight myself. I can just eat healthier. I can cut out the soda. I can walk, I can exercise. You know, I can go to the gym. Everybody that wants to be skinny goes to the gym, right? But it never worked. Um, then back in 2019, I had bariatric surgery and had the gastric sleeve. I successfully got from almost 280 to 199 um, while my husband was deployed. In that time, I moved cross country from Virginia to California. But, you know, they refer to that first year post bariatric surgery as the honeymoon period. And, I didn't get the tools in my toolbox, um, due to moving pretty quickly after having the bariatric surgery. Yes, I was set up here with the doctors and the stuff, but I was still able to eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and, magically lose the weight. Um, but, come almost a year post-op, I put all but about 20 pounds of that back on and, said, okay, well, I guess I'm destined to be fat. I'm destined to be almost 300 pounds. It's genetic, both of my parents are overweight. And so I was like, oh, it's just genetic.
Mhm.
I'm meant to be big. There's nothing I can do about it. It is my life. And then come 2024, 2023, I had watched a previous client of yours, Stephanie, lose the weight. And, we had had our first health assessment. And at that point, I wasn't quite willing to join. You know, I'll be honest, the financial aspect of it scared me. And I said, well, I can do it on my own. And I watched Stephanie lose her weight, and we lost my husband's grandfather in that process, and I got to see her in person and see how much she had lost. And I remember coming home from that trip and looking at my husband and saying, well, we're going to find a way to do it, because if Stephanie can do it, I can do it.
Amen.
And so then I called you in August of 2024 and I said I'm ready to join, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and how did I mean, and that's just amazing. It's so it's just like I always tell people, like our weight loss is a journey. It's not a straight line, and so many people that come to me after they've tried everything else. It's almost like it's the last resort. It's like I tell people like stop doing everything else and just come to me first, because this is, then you save all of this time and money by actually just doing what we know works. But sometimes we just don't know until we know. And so then you started this. And what do you think shifted in your mindset? Because you had already, like you said, you had had the bariatric surgery, you had the sleeve put on, and you didn't change your habits. And so that's what I really want to focus on, is that's what this program is. It's so many people make it about the food, but it's really about the habits that we learn about portion control and eating the right things and fueling our bodies and, turning away from emotionally eating. How in that first couple of months did you see a shift and start, like, did you start to get hope again? Like, what was that shift that you're like, wow, I think I can actually get to my goal? Like, when did that happen?
I mean, I think in all reality, like that first month, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't hard, both, just because of what was going on that first month in my home life, but at the same time, Optavia makes it easy for you. They set it up that if you fail plan, I question, what are you doing? It's so easy. It's five feelings. Okay, I wake up, I have, my first feeling. I'm one of those people that 3 hours is just that's my ideal window.
Mhm.
And 3 hours later, I have my second feeling. And it was difficult in those first couple of days to not boredom eat. I found that I am definitely one of those people that if I'm home and I'm not doing something, I want that bag of chips while I'm sitting on the couch.
Mhm.
Oh, we're watching a TV series, and we all fall into that binge watching, and it's like, well, that old habit of hand to mouth the whole time you're watching a TV series was
Yes.
very hard for me.
Yeah.
But at and realizing that about myself was probably the hardest thing. But now I'm just like, well, it's not time for fueling, and I don't need that. If I sit there and I'm watching the TV series, it's one of those, the question that I ask myself is, am I truly hungry or am I bored? Do
Yes.
I truly need the food, or is it my mind saying, well, we used to feed ourselves while we were watching TV, you need the food now.
Mm-hmm. So good.
But I find, get a bottle of water. That's my new hand to mouth exercise.
Yes. And that's great because it's like so many times we think that our body is craving food when it's really just craving hydration. And we don't even think about that. We're just like, oh, we've already put stuff in our mouth before we even realize, well, maybe it's just I need some water, I need to change that habit. And so that is amazing. Like learning those habits and learning to deny your flesh and what your body is screaming for sugar or carbs or all of the things. And you can actually stop, challenge, and choose, which is what we teach a lot of our clients, which is what we teach all of our clients, to stop, challenge yourself. Like, why am I craving this right now? And choose a better option that's going to serve your future. And so you have just been like a force to be reckoned with this whole entire time. Like, like you said, it was easy or it was simple, but it's not easy. The hardest thing we battle is right here between our ears. And once we can start denying what our body is asking us for, we can start to control this. And once you do that, like you become unstoppable. And so you literally just rocked it, and you've lost over 100, like 107 point something pounds in a year. And I mean, that's just, amazing. So how would you feel, or how would you explain how losing this weight has changed your life? Like, I know you went through surgeries, you had some life that hit you. I know even recently you said that you told your son, like, I'll race you to the car. And your son was kind of like, what do you mean, race me to the car? Like, he had never heard you say that before. So how would you describe how your life has changed since losing the weight?
My life has changed in ways I couldn't have even fathomed a year ago. Um, the biggest thing is literally just having my son look at me and go, "What do you mean? We'll race." I mean, I guess if you want to, mom. And, so we'll just take off running. And he always beats me. I mean, he's got a lot shorter legs than he weighs like
Right.
60 pounds soaking wet. But it's still that matter of I can take off and run with him, and I am not huffing and puffing like the big bad wolf by the time I get, 2 feet in front of me.
Right.
You know, Walking is so much easier. You know, we he actually has a doctor's appointment today, and the Naval Hospital we go to, the parking garage has, 4 stories. And, a year ago, I'd have taken that elevator and then dreaded the walk into the doctor's office. Now I'm like, no, we're taking the stairs. I think since starting plan, I have taken the elevator at that particular hospital twice.
Wow.
And the one time was because it hurt to even look. And that was, due to complications from a surgery I had. But we take the stairs, and we walk all over the hospital, and I don't even second guess it. you know Going grocery shopping at Walmart, I park at the back of the parking lot most of the time. Why? Because it doesn't bother me to walk into the grocery store.
How amazing.
you
Just little
know
things like
I
that.
Oh yeah, I used to be one of those people that I'd come home from the grocery store and I would only take out the frozen and the refrigerated items. And I left the rest in the back of the car for the kids or my husband to bring in whenever they got home from school or work. Now, I'll make multiple trips down there and carry in the groceries, put them all away, and I still have energy afterwards.
So awesome. That's awesome. I mean, it's just like we don't even think about those little things in life that it's just like you get to live life without limitations now. You don't have to stop and take breaks anymore. And I mean, you're just absolutely transforming your whole life. You're starting to work out now with a trainer. And it's like you lost all of this weight without stepping foot in the gym. It was all nutrition. You really did the mindset work. You really learned how to get those healthy habits in order. You learned how to get the healthy mindset. You've been paying this gift forward and helping your friends. Like you're helping so many other people also change their lives. And so it's amazing to watch how just one yes becomes a ripple effect to everybody around you. And it's like, man, people are, in this world with 90% of people being metabolically dysfunctional, it's like we need people to step up. And you have moved your goal like 4 or 5 times. Like you didn't even think that you could get to your first goal, and you got there and you crushed it, and then you went, you set another goal. And so I love that you get to be the determining factor on when you stop. Like you get so far and it's like, hey, like I know I can go a little bit further, and I think I'll feel a little bit better if I get a little bit more visceral fat off of my organs. And I love how this program just allows you to decide when you're going to stop versus going, yeah, I don't know if I can even lose 10 pounds or 50 pounds. You're proof that it absolutely can happen. And you haven't been perfect, but you've been consistent, and you get right back up. And so what would you say to someone who used to be you, and maybe scared to reach out, maybe scared to try something different? I know you had mentioned you were worried about the finances, but once you actually started this, I think you realized, like everybody else, that this actually saves you money because you are not buying all the stuff that you were buying before, even with having a family and learning how to cook healthy for them. How has that kind of changed? Speaking to families that, might have someone in the family that needs to lose weight, it's not like you have to exclude your family because you're eating healthy. You've learned how to make healthier options for them. So talk about that for a minute.
I mean, one of our favorite recipes that actually comes from the Optavia app is the chicken pizza, the chicken crust pizza. And now for myself, I make it exactly as the Optavia recipe says. Now, my husband will make a completely separate pizza for him and the kids and put he puts pepperoni on it and extra cheese and might put some other things on it, the mushrooms and stuff, but we all enjoy it. And it's one of the substitutes instead of saying ordering Domino's all the time. That's not to say my husband and my kids don't get Domino's and I make something else that night,
Right.
but I can sit there and say, I'm craving pizza. Here's a solution. We do that a lot. Um, we do a lot of just chicken and veggies. Um, the another one that we like is it's like a cauliflower rice skillet. You know, my husband will make it with regular rice for them, but it's still something healthier than what we would have normally went and, had, say, Taco
Right.
Bell or McDonald's.
Right.
Um, and and the fact that I can't go to Taco Bell or McDonald's and, have that on plan, we do a lot less eating out, which, we're just a family of four. Even a Taco Bell run for a family of four costs us $60.
Yeah.
Not going and getting Taco Bell 2, 3 times a week, that's $120.
Yeah.
And that saving that allows us to afford the, $300 that I spend, on fuelings from Optavia.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you sit down and look at the amount of money most of us spend at fast food or going out to dinner at least once or twice a week.
Yep. Yeah.
That's the money I turn around and give to Optavia.
Yeah. And it's brought your life back. Like it's not just that, it's like it's not just going off into Wonderland. You're buying your food that has absolutely transformed your life and given your husband and your kids their mom back. Like you have like just added so many years onto your life because you took a stand. So that's just, I mean, you can't even put a price tag on that. You literally
Right.
can't even put a price tag on that.
Right.
So that's, I mean, I am just so proud of you, girl. Like you've inspired me along the way too. And I mean, you just keep on going. And I just love that you're super close. You're like within 2 pounds of your next goal, and you're working out and you're just, starting to live life and just it's all starting now. Like people think that the journey's over when we lose our weight. But no, that's just when life gets started. That's when we got to go, okay, now my goal is to keep it off, to keep
Right.
learning these healthy habits and learning how to keep that weight off and not going back to all of our bad habits. And so I'm excited to walk this next journey with you as you get ready to go through transition and, you decide to we go into optimization and all of that. Like the weight loss phase is just phase one. There's two other phases beyond the weight loss phase. So a lot of people just get to the first phase and then they're like, okay, I'm done. And then they just go back to eating the way they were and they gain their weight back and they're like, it didn't work. Well, it's like, because you didn't do the whole program. You got to do the whole program in order for it to work. So, um, uh, uh, just wrapping up here, what would you say? Would you say that all of the stuff that you've gone through over the last year, the ups and downs, the hard decisions, the saying no to things that weren't going to serve you. Um, do you feel like it was all worth it?
Yes. 100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you look amazing. Like, I posted your pictures earlier and I mean, you're just glowing and I'm just so proud of you and I just can't wait to see what the future holds for you. So any final words before we wrap this up for everybody? Anything else you want to end with?
I would say if you're out there struggling with your weight, get in contact with either Angie or myself and take the first step. It's a big step. It's a difficult step, but take that step.
Yep. We don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. And the first step is just reaching out and saying, hey, I'm interested in maybe finding out if what you guys are doing can benefit me. We have a bunch of different programs. It's not just for weight loss either. It's for everybody. Everybody can hone in and reel in their health on a different level. And so, just the reaching out and just saying, "Hey, I'm interested. This is what I want to do with my health." And we can do a health assessment with you and see if this might be a good fit for you or not. We're not high class salespeople. We don't try to convince anybody to do this because you have to participate in your own rescue. Like we can't drag you to healthy. We can show you how to get there and we can lead you down the same path that we went down, but you've got to be willing to participate in your own rescue and put your own feelings aside that we can do this on our own and that everything and literally just take a bet on one of us that we can actually change that for you. So everybody, thanks for tuning in. Let us know whether you're watching on the live or the replay. And if you have any questions, reach out to either one of us. And again, Amanda, thank you so much. I'm so proud of you and you just keep on crushing it and we'll be in touch. So everybody having an amazing day. Talk to you guys later.